Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're working in corporate governance, compliance, or risk management right now, well, your job description basically just got rewritten. Today, we're mapping out the rapidly shifting, highly fragmented global regulatory landscape of artificial intelligence. You probably already know that the rules of the game are changing almost daily. But today, we're going to break down exactly what that means for your organization, drawing directly from the absolute latest legal analyses and compliance data.
Let's kick things off with a pretty staggering number, 48%. According to recent data from EY, nearly half of Fortune 100 boards now specifically cite AI risk oversight in their public disclosures. That is triple the number from just last year, which sat at a mere 16%. Think about that massive jump for a second. This means if your board isn't actively talking about AI risk right now, you are officially in the minority. AI governance has firmly moved out of the IT basement and straight into the boardroom. It's no longer just a tech issue, it is a fundamental business mandate.
To guide you through all this, our explainer is broken down into 6 quick sections today. We'll start with the Boardroom AI Awakening, then look at the Colorado AI Reset, compare EU versus US AI rules, check out the Hiroshima Global Baseline, walk through mapping material influence, and wrap up with a practical AI compliance checklist.
All right, let's dive right into Part 1, the Boardroom AI Awakening, and how AI risk has completely tripled.
So, what this recent compliance analysis reveals is that audit committees are increasingly taking the helm here. They're realizing that deploying AI without rigorous guardrails isn't just a minor operational hiccup, it is a massive legal and reputational liability. They're basically treating the potential of rogue AI as a threat on par with massive financial fraud or a severe cybersecurity breach. In fact, 36% of these top Fortune 100 companies now disclose AI as an entirely separate risk factor in their 10K filings. The pressure from investors and regulators to get this right is absolutely immense.
Moving right along to Part 2, the Colorado AI Reset. This is a prime example of a very sudden legal pivot.
What's truly fascinating about this landscape right now is the sheer speed of change, and honestly, the headache it's causing compliance teams. Colorado originally passed a state law modeled directly on the European Union's strict risk management framework. It really seemed like a done deal. But then came some severe federal headwinds. After a White House executive order and the Department of Justice intervening in federal litigation over preemption, Colorado folded. They realized they couldn't step on federal toes. So in a matter of just weeks, they completely dismantled their EU-style regime and replaced it with a totally different framework before the original even took effect. I mean, talk about legislative whiplash.
This naturally brings us to Part 3, EU versus US AI rules. It is truly a tale of two systems. That sudden shift in Colorado confirms a major growing divergence between how the US and the European Union handle this. For a long time, companies kind of assumed the US would just copy the EU, while that is clearly no longer the case. The EU AI Act is a very substantive, risk-focused model. It aims to regulate the technology itself, demanding mandatory impact assessments, strict conformity checks, and threatening eye-watering fines of up to 35 million euros. The emerging US model, which Colorado just pioneered, is vastly different. It's a procedural disclosure-focused framework. Instead of trying to ban the tech itself or police the algorithms at the code level, the US wants procedural transparency. They want detailed developer documentation and clear notifications to consumers whenever an automated decision affects them.
So the bottom line here is that global businesses can no longer assume that complying with the strict EU AI Act automatically satisfies these new US state laws. While the EU demands deep algorithmic accountability, the US states are demanding procedural transparency and consumer rights. You need to be prepared for both. You literally need to run 2 playbooks simultaneously.
Now, with all this localized chaos, is there any global consensus? That's Part 4, the Hiroshima Global Baseline.
Despite these regional fractures, there are high-level efforts to establish a consistent international baseline so we aren't flying entirely blind. This brings us to the G7 Hiroshima process. Initiated in late 2023 by the world's leading economies, this framework aims to promote safe, secure, and trustworthy advanced AI systems worldwide. Now, to be perfectly clear, this isn't a binding law with massive fines attached, like the EU AI Act. Rather, it acts as a critical voluntary code of conduct for organizations developing the most advanced generative AI models. It's the closest thing we have right now to a unified global handshake on AI safety.
These principles provide a foundational safety net that bridges the gap between those clashing legal systems we were just talking about. They emphasize shared global goals, Things like evaluating risks throughout the entire AI lifecycle, continuous vulnerability monitoring, responsible incident reporting, and this is a really big one, reliable content authentication. Think of content authentication as a digital watermark, ensuring everyday users know exactly when they are looking at an AI-generated deepfake versus a reality-based photograph or document. If you're designing AI governance from the ground up, these principles are absolutely your North Star for achieving global consistency.
Okay, bringing it back home for Part 5, Mapping Material Influence, which is the new legal standard in the U.S.
Returning to that rapid U.S. regulatory shift, we need to understand exactly what triggers these new compliance obligations. The new Colorado framework, which is highly likely to be the blueprint for future U.S. state laws, revolves entirely around automated decision-making technology, or ADMT, and whether it exerts material influence. So let's break that legal jargon down. This simply means if your AI tool is a non-insignificant factor in a high-stakes choice, say an AI filtering resumes for a job, or an algorithm deciding a consumer's mortgage rate, you are on the hook for these rules. On the flip side, if the AI is just spell-checking your emails or doing basic data entry, you're totally fine. Material influence is all about the impact on human opportunities.
To handle this, risk managers have to audit their tools step by step. First, you identify all your ADMT systems across the entire company. Second, you test if their outputs have that material influence on consequential outcomes that we just defined. Third, verify your exemptions. The law specifically excludes low-stakes routine tools like basic spreadsheets, calculators, and standard cybersecurity or fraud prevention software. Oh, and here is a absolutely critical warning for Step 3. Colorado completely removed its exemption for businesses with fewer than 50 employees. In the AI era, even a startup of 5 people can deploy highly consequential algorithms, meaning small businesses are now caught in this regulatory net just like the giant tech companies.
And finally, Part 6, our AI compliance checklist to ensure you have dual posture readiness.
Bringing this all together, how should your executive team actually maintain compliance during this crazy regulatory transition? Well, if you only remember one thing from this explainer, make it this: overarching strategy. Do not build 2 separate governance programs. The most efficient, comprehensive strategy recommended by top compliance experts is to build a single, robust governance program mapped to the stricter EU AI Act standard. Because that standard is so incredibly high, it gives you a massive, durable foundation. From there, you simply bolt on the localized, US-specific procedural overlays, like those specific consumer notices and developer documentation requirements.
Let's turn that into a concrete checklist for your team. First, keep your existing risk governance programs. Actually, whatever you do, don't mistakenly dismantle them just because the US is pivoting to procedural rules. They are still incredibly valuable. Second, reassess your scope immediately, especially if you were relying on small business exemptions in the past. Third, rigorously audit your tools for that material influence exposure. Fourth, start demanding and preparing technical developer documentation right now, well before regulators start knocking on your door. And finally, keep a very close eye on state attorney general rulemaking as we approach the 2027 enforcement dates, because the fine print is definitely going to keep evolving.
I'll leave you with this critical question to pose at your next strategy meeting. As global AI frameworks continue to fragment, is your board ready to manage 2 completely distinct compliance postures? Understanding this explainer is really just the first step toward proactive adaptation. The era of waiting around for one magical, unified global AI law is a complete fantasy. The divide is already here. So the question is, will your organization be paralyzed by the complexity, or are you going to use this dual posture strategy as a massive competitive advantage? Thank you so much for joining this explainer, and good luck navigating the road ahead.